Hi all, we're here with Mr Weingarten, and I'm going to ask him to start by introducing himself and then talk a little bit about what and where you teach. So go ahead.
All right, my name is Mr Weingarten. I teach 9th grade physical science at Sci High, and yeah, I've been going through this transition mostly using Google Classroom and some emails and a few other resources that I've found helpful.
Cool. My first question is maybe talk a little bit about what your school put in place in terms of systems, and then what systems you just mentioned, a couple that you've been using, and how things are working so far.
So our school gave us a list of resources to use. Basically, they've asked every teacher to keep in touch with their classes at least once a week, to just like set a schedule with their students, and they're encouraging to use the Classroom and Zoom or Google Hangouts. And because we can't guarantee that every student has access to internet and a computer or something to work on, we haven't been able to require any kind of student participation. So we're basically treating the current education right now as strongly encouraged enrichment, and we're not putting in any grades, but there are lots of different ways of going about that. On Google Classroom, for example, which I use, I guess I can just jump into a screen share right now. So I use Google Classroom, and throughout the year, I have had a lot of us already, so I think my students were pretty well prepared for this. And I have a lot of worksheets. I number them all so that they're like very clear, at their own pace, what comes next, and that's been really helpful right now. So right now we're in our waves unit, and I just assigned a quiz, and so there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different assignments that I asked students to do. And I'll show those. So the last one is this worksheet, or like activity, I guess, that I made called Making Waves, where students will, it was intended to be a group activity, but students can do it with someone at home. And they're basically like on a piece of paper, drawing a wave through a specific procedure, which I outline over here, and they make a low frequency wave and frequency wave. And then they go through the process of actually measuring the different properties of it. They measure the time it took to draw the wave, amplitude of speed, the wavelength, frequency, and the period, and through a series of calculations. And then kind of they start building up their conceptual understanding, and I get to some more complicated examples, like about related to wave, and ask them to make it from there.
Cool.
So yeah.
I'm curious, so you mentioned that not everyone has internet, and is this something that you also are making hard copies of that can be picked up, or how else might a student engage with this if they're not internet savvy?
Don't have any way to hand out hard copies. We've been asked by the school not to give out packets. So if students don't have access to the internet in any way, one thing we've done is sent out resources. NT and POP right now are essentially waiving fees for 60 days.
Okay.
So we've sent resources to families that they can get free internet, and they can also borrow a Chromebook from school. But unfortunately, that's the only way.
Gotcha.
They can access.
Cool. Where are you going to find the materials, the content? Are you using your own brain? Are you using a curriculum? Where's that coming from?
I'd say most of the materials are a combination of materials from our last physical science teacher at Sci High. A lot of them I just come up with based off of the NGSS standards. And then I also have lists that I occasionally draw from. It's kind of random. Sometimes I've used teachers paid teachers. Sometimes, actually, there are two resources I've probably used more than anything else, which is one is explorelearning.com,
Yep.
and our school has subscribed to them, and they have and they come with worksheets to go through that. So I'll usually use those as like an introductory
Cool.
lesson.
Yeah, that's the same for your waves unit, that they can do the simulation instead of physically doing it.
I did, like, looking at my progression, I started with like an introductory lesson, and then this waves gizmo is the Explore Learning simulator, and there's a long worksheet to fill out. And then similarly, I've also used FIT. That's, I think, put out
Yeah.
by CU, great physics simulations, and they also have lesson plans that go with those. So I've used those. One thing I've also done is Zoom Hangouts, and for example, I've pulled up my study guide, and then I have ActivInspire down here at the bottom, so I can like annotate while I'm working and give students
Cool.
equations, blah blah blah, like that while we're doing Zoom Hangout. So I've used that a lot to go through the study guide with students and answer questions.
Cool.
And then the newest resource I've been using, which is Edulastic, and they've been really helpful for making assessments and quizzes. They have a useful feature where you can switch out students' names so you can actually show the data.
Cool. That is neat.
But yeah, I can switch in it and what they've answered. And yeah, that's just a way for students to
Okay.
take a quiz online, and once they release the scores, they can check their answers, and I've provided explanations for each answer. So the ones they get wrong, they can see. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now. My next few lessons that I'm looking at are they're going to be comparing different resources, and their goal is to kind of find through their own research whether they think Wi-Fi signals and 5G dangerous to people or not. And then we're going to have a Socratic seminar about that through Zoom, and I'll be giving them resources to kind of call out opinion versus fact. And that's so, yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm gonna just come back to. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. So my last question is just if folks see what you're doing and are interested, is there a way for them to connect with you?
Yeah, they can send me an email. I'd be happy to help people out if I can. That's eweingarten@noscihigh.org. You can also find my email on the Sci High website, noscihigh.
Cool. And if you're watching this, we will link all of the links that you just talked about to this interview, so you'll be able to see that as well. Okay, thanks so much for taking the time to chat with us.
Yeah, thank you.